This person writes, are insecure people the worst people to date? Well, what is insecure? Really, it's rooted from a place of fear. And so there's really many forms of insecurity, and that's one reason why you see that word so frequently in basically when people talk about relationships or problems with relationships. Really, it's just basically outsets of fear. Fear you're not enough, fear you won't be loved. I'm looking for other people's opinions on this topic. And another fear is basically being abandoned or left alone. That's one of the most common ones you'll see as well. And that one probably roots back to not feeling loved. It's like those two are the main ones, but there's just kind of like different forms. Just be aware of that. I just had a breakup and I was still reflecting over this relation and my past relationships. I had two experiences, one recent where I started dating those girls and everything was super fine at the beginning. Like they were all over me. They made me feel like I was a perfect guy for them, always talking about future plans, etc. But both of those relationships ended brutally from nowhere. That's what guys often think when they're making mistakes. It's like they're just acting in their minds logically, but they're not. They're not raising her attraction, or they're doing things that really turn her off or are off-putting, or they're not making her feel understood, thinking that it's just like common sense to act this way when she's thinking, oh, well, he should be able to figure these things out. Literally a text in both occasions. So he's getting text breakups. Right when I thought we were doing really good, boom, they dumped me. Both times they started dating another guy immediately after. Sometimes women do that. It's like they don't want to be alone, or it's just like maybe they're checking their options even before they dump you. So that maybe you'll see things like revealing like social media posts and see what attention they can get. That's a common one. Or just flirting with other guys, or going back to other exes or other guys maybe they have in like friend zone. What women will do is, because it's like they get so many guys trying to get with them, it's like they'll put a bunch in friend zone, and then basically there'll be a backup plan for situations like this. So that way, if like it doesn't work out with this guy, then she has him as a backup. Don't ever agree to be in that friend zone backup role. Horrible negotiation standpoint, and you're not going to get respected. I find out she blocked me from her Instagram to post a pic with this other guy, and when I confronted her, she left me without a good excuse. Well, the two of you are just dating, and I think you mentioned something about multiple women, so it's like you're in this dating phase. You don't really have an obligation to them, and if you basically try to like enforce rules upon her, it's just going to cause problems. And it's going to make her feel really controlled and not free. It's like you have to basically make her feel like she can be with you, and it's like you are the best option, and it's obvious you're the best option. It's like, oh, if you try somebody else, it's like, well, they don't have nearly the knowledge about relationships as me. And that's going to be one of the biggest mistakes that you can make, is to basically pick somebody else over me, because it's like over time that guy's going to mess up, and I'm going to keep on keeping on, and I'm going to find somebody else, and I'm going to succeed. And, I bring a lot of value. That's kind of the attitude you want. So it's like if she basically goes back to X, you'll see that a lot, just because there's emotional connection or no emotional investment. The two of them have been together for a long time. Well, it's like, well, if she goes back to her ex, it's like, well, whatever, just let her go. And that's okay. Be okay with letting her go. And what you'll find is, like, when you don't try to enforce things, it's like, think about like why people like rebel. It's because it's like they're being forced to do something. So if you're trying to force her, it's like you can't have feelings about your ex, or you can't like hang out with your ex. It's like when they try to control, what they ultimately do is push her into his arms. And so if you let her go and basically don't give her any resistance and just basically be totally composed, she's like, okay, yeah, that's there. I have these emotions, but it's like, this is the obvious choice with the guy I'm with right now. Anyways, both shared common traits, didn't have a solid family foundation, so he's looking at their problems, not his own, and basically he's clueless in why this happened, and so he's basically trying to find reasons, and he just doesn't have the knowledge, really. on why things are failing. He's not really giving too many examples for me to really look at what he's doing wrong, as far as wrong meaning acting in ways that basically push these women away or just suddenly break up with him, quote unquote, suddenly. What you'll almost always find is it's not sudden. She's been giving hints for a while. You just haven't been picking up on the hints. Both didn't have many friends, or a better, they had friends, but they were rarely saw them. For example, they would hang out like once a month with their close friend. He's not taking any responsibility, probably because he just doesn't know how, or it's difficult. Most of their life was just work and home. When I dated them, I was at the center of their attention. Both didn't have a secure future outlook. One really didn't know what to do with her life and was always changing jobs. The other one got her bachelor but waited 2 years to enroll in a master program. In the meantime, she was working somewhere unrelated to her major, changed a bunch of jobs, businesses, and also changed her career pattern. Yeah, maybe it is you are picking women that, don't really suit you or basically need help, and you're kind of trying to swoop in and trying to save the day. First told me wanted to be an elementary teacher, and then told me she wanted to be like a counselor, etc. She was 25. That really pissed me off. Take it easy, man. Is that they made me think our future together was sealed. She's going to say things how she's feeling in a moment. So in that moment, she might have been feeling that way. But then in future moments, you made her feel terrible. Or she just wasn't attracted to you at all. And so she took action on that as well, and she left you. One told me to not hurt her feelings at one point. So yeah, you might be displaying like too much aggressiveness or too much anger, and that's not really making her feel safe. She was afraid I didn't like her or I was going to dump her. Yeah, or you could be in like this, basically not giving her enough attention. You're not making her feel seen. Maybe you're losing your temper, not making her feel safe. And then maybe you're just too distant. The other one was talking about traveling everywhere, talking about ideal home, meeting family, ideal marriage, etc. within the month and a half of dating. Yeah, typically you'll see, about 7 weeks if you're doing everything right, and you might actually give off this vibe, especially if you are dating multiple women. It's like you're not getting too attached. Sometimes women can really be attracted to that, and you can just naturally make actions that aren't too quick or too fast. And so sometimes her attraction will grow. And usually you'll see that basically, 7, 8 weeks, 2 months range is like she wants to be exclusive. She even starts to like love you. And so maybe she was feeling that, but it's like maybe she kind of came to a point where it's like you were too distant. Kind of just patch it in these things, but based on like the clues you're giving and kind of the reactions and this dynamic between what you're communicating, because you are the one writing this post, is all from your perspective. Both always made me pick what to do. He's like, now he thinks that they should be the one who picks sometimes. It's like, it doesn't work that way. It's like masculinity is more certain, and so it's better suited for a leadership and taking the lead in a relationship, making the plans, making the dates, sometimes even making the dates and not telling her what you two of you are doing. And then she can be basically in her uncertainty, and she basically can just basically follow your lead and go with you on these things. It's like women don't want to make the decisions in most cases, so just be aware of that and don't think it's going to change. And don't think it has to be 50-50 kind of deal. It's not like that as far as the psychology of it. Or always agreed with me, even though clearly they didn't like something. Yeah, you're not reading the situation, so you have a huge knowledge gap as far as I can tell in what works in relationships, and you don't really understand women. And so what they're trying to do is they're giving you hints on what they want to do, and you have to basically figure out those hints and then make the definite plans based on those hints. And then she's going to know that you care about her. Otherwise, if you just keep doing whatever you're doing and whatever you want to do and never basically picking up on her hints, she's going to basically feel like she's not cared for. And then she's going to get distant, and then she's going to break up with you. And then you're going to be like, what happened? Like what you're doing right now. For example, music taste. But in both cases, I got dumped right when I thought everything was perfect. Yeah. Any opinions? You're not picking up on her hints. I also saw some narcissistic behavior in one of them. It's like, this is the problem with it. It's like the people who don't have a freaking clue about relationships or how basically the other gender, communicates. It's like then they start to blame, oh, they're toxic, oh, they're a narcissist. It's like they have borderline personality disorder. It's like, that's why. And then you'll even see like therapists say this kind of stuff as well. It's like, oh, it's like it's them. It's like, it doesn't matter if it's them or not. It's like you got to basically take ownership. But in this case, it's like he just doesn't understand how women communicate, and how they communicate is not manipulative, whatever. It's like sometimes it is, but that just goes with all people really. Sometimes people are manipulative. But just like their natural mode of communication, you look at like brain studies, it's like women, when they communicate, basically both sides of their brain are lit up. When you look at guys, it's just their left side of the brain, which is more like decision making. And then in comparison, it's like emotion based things. Basically, they utilize emotions with their decision making. Women do. And then also women talk about 4 times as much per day as guys. So it's just like there is that different dynamic, and there is that different operating system that you have to understand. Because if you try to basically only come to a relationship with the perspective of your operating system and not their operating system, in both cases, both men and women, then you're going to experience a lot of problems, and you're not going to understand, and you're going to basically blame other things because you just don't understand, and you're not going to get to the root of the cause of the problem, and it's not going to work. So there's no way around understanding how to communicate with another person in a relationship. And that just takes time, effort, and resources. Getting someone that basically can give you a step-by-step model to do it. So, check out those products right there. Fundamentals one is free. And so just like click on that link down below, and it'll just take you to ClickFunnels to the other 8 products that you all buy at once for $30. But it's like, it just gives you the complete foundation, complete step-by-step guide to understand all these things I'm talking about: communication principles, managing space, 3 C's of masculinity, 3 U's of femininity, psychology, just like things to say, why she does the things she does, how to respond in like testing situations, how to lead a relationship, how to set dates, how to have sex. Yeah, it's all covered in those products. So it's like, it's there for you if you're willing to take that challenge.